What's up folks? This is Trevor the Rainbow Go animator here, and today I will be making a rant on the remake of Resident Evil 3. If you like this game, I wholeheartedly respect your opinion as long as you respect mine. So please do not bash my opinion. Anyway, let's get into the rant, shall we? Resident Evil 3 Remake? What? More like Resident Truncated 3, Escape from Replayability. This is the worst excuse for a Resident Evil 3 remake ever. And here's why. First off, a lot of major content was cut from the original game. The content that was cut was the best part of the original Resident Evil 3. What the hell, Capcom? Iconic locations like the Clock Tower, the Gravedigger boss fight, and parts of the city park were completely removed. The game was noticeably shorter because of these cuts. Most players could finish it in 5 to 6 hours. That's too short. This is a step backwards in making a game remake. I can obviously tell the people who made this game have never played the Resident Evil 2 remake, which added depth and detail compared to the original Resident Evil 2. Second, Nemesis felt extremely underwhelming compared to his original role in the original Resident Evil 3 game as the ultimate stalker enemy. In the original Resident Evil 3, Nemesis could stalk the player dynamically across various areas, creating tension at any time. People were expecting him to be like Mr. X from the Resident Evil 2 remake, but was he? No. In the remake, Nemesis encounters were heavily scripted, turning him into more of a cinematic set-piece boss rather than an unpredictable threat like Mr. X. What the hell were you thinking, lazy game developers? Third, as I mentioned before, this game has the shortest length, which is why it's a miserable excuse for a remake of Resident Evil 3. Many players finish the game in a single sitting. With fewer puzzles and side paths, it lacked the replayability of earlier games. Fourth, the original had branching choices. These choices gave you the option of whether to fight or run that changed how the story played out. These were removed in the remake, making it more linear. What were they thinking? Fifth, there are a lot of story pacing issues. Some players felt the story rushed through characters and events without much development. Popular supporting characters, like Carlos and Jill together, didn't get as much screen time as fans hoped. Why, Capcom? Why? 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 The Resident Evil 2 remake raised expectations by expanding the original in a faithful yet fresh way. By comparison, Resident Evil 3 remake feels rushed and stripped down. Sixth, there is no Mercenaries mode. Mercenaries mode was one of the biggest and best parts of the original Resident Evil 3. Why did they have to not add it in this awful remake? Seventh, a lot of enemy types aren't present in this awful remake. The infected crows, giant spiders, and brain suckers were cut from this game. Why cut the best enemies? Why? And finally, Nemesis has the worst design ever. I mean, look at this. Look at the original Nemesis compared to the remake Nemesis. Why is there a device attached to Nemesis' chest? Why is he wearing biohazard tape instead of the regular trench coat? Why is his eye so small? And why does he have a nose? In the remake, the second form of Nemesis is just this overgrown licker instead of a shirtless Nemesis with more tentacles. You know, the developers slacked off on his design. And for his final form, Nemesis just becomes this immobile blobby mess instead of the mutated NE-alpha parasite that was inside him. The people who developed this game should have been fired from Capcom. In conclusion, Resident Evil 3 Remake fails because of its cut content, a lackluster performance from Nemesis, shortest game length, no branching paths, no Mercenaries mode, and possibly the worst character design in the history of Resident Evil remakes. You know what's a better game than that god-awful remake? The original Resident Evil 3, with no cut content, Mercenaries mode, a lot of enemies, branching choices, and a better story pacing and character pacing to add to it. And that's why Resident Evil 3 Remake fails as a remake. Anyway, This is the end of the rant. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. This is Trevor the Rainbow Go Animator, signing off.